Challenger 1 was a superb tank to go to war in. It had tremendous armour and firepower was superb, but a very accurate gun. And now, of course, we've got Challenger 2.
Well, Challenger 2 is a lot quicker tank. The speed at which it covers over the ground is remarkable.
From the original contract signing to the tank rolling off production line is 5 years. And that's an extraordinarily short time for what is, after all, the finest tank in the world.
Your Royal Highness, Secretary of State, CDS, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Salam alaikum. Welcome to this rollout ceremony for the Vickers Challenger 2 main battle tank. Prior to the Gulf War, the reputation of the current in-service British tanks had reached a low ebb. However, the superb performance of Challenger 1 throughout Operation Granby proved to be a revelation and was the turning point in the Army's and the public's perception of its effectiveness. The other member of the United Kingdom's winning armoured partnership in the Gulf War was the Challenger Armoured Repair and Recovery Vehicle, or CRAV for short. Its outstanding winching, towing and mobility characteristics made it a significant force multiplier. Both the Vickers factories, here in Leeds and in Newcastle, worked round the clock to ensure that 12 of these remarkable armoured support vehicles were deployed to the Gulf well in advance of their planned in-service date. The vehicle now in front of you is the first production Challenger 2 driver training tank, or DTT. It is not cost-effective to use a vehicle of the sophistication of Challenger 2 to train students in driving and hull maintenance techniques. This is particularly so since some 2/3 of the cost of a modern main battle tank is accounted for by the turret. The British Army has therefore adopted a phased approach to driver training. This starts with introductory instruction on simulators, some of which are very sophisticated, then graduating to the DTT. And only when these stages are satisfactorily completed do the students move on to a Challenger 2 for the final phase of their training. We are delighted that the Royal Army of Oman has chosen Challenger 2 as their main battle tank. The RAO is widely respected for its professionalism, and we take great comfort from the fact that its decision to equip with Challenger 2 fully reflects its understanding and appreciation of the exhaustive competition carried out by the British Army before it selected Challenger 2. Ladies and gentlemen, the centerpiece of today's rollout ceremony, Challenger 2. Earlier this year, Challenger 2 completed an exhaustive series of trials which conclusively proved that its overall performance, protection, and reliability are second to none. Furthermore, its development program has been shorter and more effective than that for any other modern main battle tank.
Your Royal Highness, Secretary of State, CDS, CGS, ladies and gentlemen, I repeat the warm welcome to you all here at Barnbow today. Challenger 2 has taken 5.5 years from its inception to where you see it today, ready for service. It was selected only after the most intensive international procurement competition seen in many years. It's ensured that the British Army gets the best tank and also that the taxpayer gets the best value. What you see before you today, however, would not have been possible had it not been for decisions taken by Vickers Defence Systems in the 80s. Investment decisions in research and development, new factories and equipment. The foresight to rationalise the business so that it was in the best shape possible to respond to change. Challenger 2, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is not just a bit of metal bashing by Vickers. There's a bit more to it than that. In fact, it's a triumph of systems integration by our designers and engineers who identified the best components available anywhere in the world on a competitive basis, and thus ensured that we have a tank that in the future, should there ever be another land battle, will be a decisive part of our force. A major factor in the success of Challenger 2 has been our partnership with our suppliers and subcontractors, many of them are here today. They responded quickly, enthusiastically, when we've asked. They've shared the risk and also some of the pain of the program, because it's been a very demanding program throughout. The Challenger 2 program is a success story, successful for British industry and successful for the user. With the all-Challenger 2 fleet, the British Army's frontline forces will have the most advanced armour in the world. And the MOD and other customers have a supplier which, like Challenger 2, is proven and reliable. Secretary of State, including your own origins, you've probably noticed a rather distinctive Scottish flavour here today in our celebrations. That's because the first Challenger 2s will go into service in the British Army with the Royal Scots Dragoon Guards. Famous regiment. I'm very glad that their Deputy Colonel is here today. And of course, they added to their long list of battle honours the Gulf War, where they're in service with the Challenger 1. By a happy coincidence, too, the regiment played a key part in the development programme by providing crews for our trials. And a crew from the Royal Scots Dragoon Guards is with us now to take command of their very first Challenger 2. Secretary of State, it gives me enormous pleasure to ask you to accept this tank on behalf of the British Army.
Your Royal Highness, Sir Colin, ladies and gentlemen, it is with the very greatest of pleasure that on behalf of the British Army I accept the handover of this first Challenger 2 tank, which, as you can all see, has just passed its first MOT very successfully in the last few moments. This morning I would like, if I may, to pay tribute to Vickers, of course, to their workforce, to all who've been involved in what has been a very remarkable achievement. It's a historic day for your company, Colin. It's a historic and important day for the people of Leeds and of Newcastle. And it's an important day for the Royal Scots Dragoon Guards and their fellow colleagues in the Royal Armoured Corps. I was impressed to see in the documentation that those responsible for the design of Challenger 2 have ensured that one can brew a cup of tea in air-conditioned facilities within the Challenger 2 tank. I can only ask that you lend your design team to the Ministry of Defense so that we can have a similar facility in Whitehall from now on. This morning we have been privileged to see real quality, real professionalism and real skill. It's a quality and a professionalism that is the result of a very strong team working together. The workforce of Vickers, the armed forces themselves, those within the Ministry of Defense who have been part of that process. And I believe that that teamwork, which has been such an enormous success over the last few years, is a clear and unequivocal example of how we can look forward with confidence to ensuring that our future needs will be met with the same spirit and with the same enthusiasm. We are all fortunate in living in a country that has the best armed forces in the world. And I believe that the quality of product that your company has produced today will ensure that our armoured regiments can face the future with confidence, with enthusiasm, and with a sense of realization that they have the very best equipment with which to carry out the tasks that the nation requires from them. Thank you very much indeed.
Well, today's been fantastic, hasn't it? We've had our customer here, we've had the government here. That really is a fantastic vindication of all the efforts of the people at Vickers Defence Systems, the engineers who've worked many hours, lost weekends, people on the shop floor who've maintained the tanks, got them ready against amazing deadlines, everybody in the offices, the buyers, and also I want to give my thanks to the suppliers.
And are you constantly involved in doing what we saw today? I mean, as part of the trials that's going on ship. I mean, you've been chosen as a team locked on for a mile on apart from colour television. And a cocktail cabinet.
I make believe.
That's Nick, that's Challenger 3.
It was also not bad news either a couple of weeks ago when the Secretary of State signed the contract for another 259 more Challenger 2s.